So, I'm not gonna lie, the OnePlus 8 Pro seems like a really cool phone. It just got released, right? And it has that beautiful display, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabytes of internal storage. It's got a 120 hertz display and great cameras, but the problem is when you start to look at the price that they're releasing it at. For the higher end model, the OnePlus 8 Pro is $1,000 US, and a lot of people can't afford that. So, what if I were to tell you that you could get all of that plus more for half the price? Welcome, my friends, to the Nubia Red Magic 5G. For around 500 bucks, you're getting just about the ultimate phone, and I want to say something very important. Ever since I got my very first phone, I have always used iPhones, right? I mean, I have a lot of other fantastic phones that I use for my videos on a regular day basis, and my iPhone has always been my everyday phone that I have always used. But for the first time ever, I have found a phone that I would actually be happy to switch to, and that's saying a lot. Today, what I'm going to be doing is going over this phone, giving you all the key features to the Nubia Red Magic 5G. I'm going to try my best to not bring any of my own opinion to this because this is not an actual phone review. It's just showing you guys what the phone is like. And then in 1 week from now, on April 21st, that is when I'm going to post the full phone review. If, after you watch this video, you think the Nubia Red Magic 5G is the phone for you, then I will have some links down below in the description where you can check out this phone and you can get one for yourself. Be sure you actually watch this video though, because I don't want you to just run out and purchase something before you actually see all the features of the phone and whether or not it's something you actually want. It's got some exceptional stats, so let's get into this. Based off of the stats of this phone is one of the fastest phones ever created. It has the fastest display ever created, and it has one of the fastest gaming experiences you are going to get on a mobile phone in this day and age. This phone has a 144 hertz 6.65-inch AMOLED esports display. This means that it is the fastest display ever put on any phone, all right? The fastest display previously was 120 hertz, and from my personal experience, I can visibly see a difference between a 120 hertz display phone like the ASUS ROG Phone II and a 144 hertz display. It is probably the smoothest experience I have ever seen on any phone ever. It is capable of 5G, which is always fantastic. It has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipsets with up to 12 gigabytes of RAM and 265 gigabytes of internal storage. It has active liquid cooling, and probably the coolest thing about this phone is it has a fan built inside of it, okay? Very few phones have ever had fans built inside of it, but, you know, computers have fans inside of them to cool them down. This phone actually has a fan inside of it as well. It has built-in shoulder trigger buttons, which when you actually hold the phone and use these shoulder triggers, you can program them to various places on your screen and use your phone more like a standard console controller. It has a 64 megapixel Sony triple camera system, and it's probably the best camera system that Red Magic has had thus far on any of their phones. And with this camera, you are capable of recording up to 8K video footage. I mean, that's just insane. I don't know what else to tell you. 8K from just a simple phone is just crazy in this day and age. It has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery with up to a 55 watt quick charge. Very, very quick charging, might I add. It's not going to take very long to actually charge your phone up from 0 to 100%, as I have tested from personal experience. And going back to that display, it has a 240 hertz touch sampling rate, which basically means you're going to get about the fastest for any phone ever created of feedback when you're actually touching the screen. So that means it's perfect for very intense competitive mobile gamers. It has an in-display fingerprint sensor. Thought I'd mention, according to the website GSM Arena, this phone has an AnTuTu benchmark rating of 557,000 256. The AnTuTu benchmark is basically an overall ranking of how good the phone is, how well it performs, especially in intense situations like gaming and other heavy app usage, and that means, according to the AnTuTu ranking, this phone is number 2 out of all Android phones. It is only behind the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra by just a little bit, and we know how expensive the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra is, and this phone is only $500. So for a phone that's number 2 out of all Android phones at that price point, I think that's pretty good. It has a special dedicated gaming switch where you flick the red switch on and it's going to put you in gaming mode. And when you actually are in gaming mode, it's going to block all notifications. It's going to direct all of the phone's power on one game specifically, whatever you are playing on at that moment. And you can totally absorb yourself with maximum phone power on whatever game you're playing. And then, of course, you get yourself a docking station and then a controller handle like you would see with other phones, like the Black Shark 2, for example. And it essentially turns your phone into an even better controller than you already have with those little side trigger buttons. And did I mention the RGB on the back of the phone? Yes, when you do put yourself into gaming mode, there is an option where you can actually turn on the RGB on the back just for added effect to make your phone stand out even more than it already does with this exceptional color scheme. And at the very end of it all, this phone comes in 3 different colors. You have the gradient version like I have here with 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal storage. You have the red version, which has 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of internal storage. And then lastly, you have the black version, which is just an alternative color to the red version. It has the same specs as the red version. And based off of all of that, you're looking at a phone that's around 3,799 Chinese yuan, which is roughly around 535 to 538 US dollars. When I look at that price tag, I don't see a description on whether or not that's for the higher end model or for the lower end model. So there's a good chance that the lower end model might even be cheaper than the 530 bucks. You might be getting a phone for under $500 that has the same specs of a phone that could easily be over 1,000 US dollars. Again, I am struggling to not give my opinions on this phone, but I won't. I will save that for 1 week from now when I do a full review talking about all of the pros and all of the cons of the Nubia Red Magic 5G. This video was sort of a warm-up to the phone, so you guys could get familiar with what this phone is about, and maybe it's something you want to take into consideration. If the phone sounds fascinating to you, you can pre-order it now. It is linked down below in the description. You can check out the link and you can get one for yourself. I don't think this is saying much of an opinion, but like if I were to get one, right, I certainly would not be complaining. That's all I'm going to say there. So yeah, with that being said, that is it for today's video. That was a brief introduction showing all the different specs of the Nubia Red Magic 5G. Hope you all did enjoy this video. If you guys are excited for the future of mobile gaming, I would greatly appreciate a like rating and subscribe to my channel down below so you don't miss out on the full review of this phone coming out in 1 week from today. Thank you so much, guys. With that being said, we're out of time. See you all later.